First off, we have Jonah Hill. After the actor's ex-girlfriend, Sarah Brady, accused Jonah of being emotionally toxic and a misogynist narcissist, it prompted Zoey 101 star Alexa Nikolas to come forward with her own allegations against Jonah, according to The Independent. After reading Sarah Brady's admirable post about Jonah Hill, I just gotta say, when I was 16, I got invited to a house party at Justin Long's house, she posted on X. And Jonah, without my consent, shoved his tongue down my throat. I was appalled, I pushed him off of me, and then I ran inside. Starting on July 7th, Sarah Brady, a surf instructor and model, shared multiple screenshots of toxic texts sent from her ex, Jonah Hill. This is a warning to all girls, she says. If your partner is talking to you like this, make an exit plan. Call me if you need an ear. Brady captioned one post. She also shared text messages that allegedly showed Jonah requesting that she remove surfing photos from her Instagram account that showed her, quote, butt in a thong. In one post dated December 2nd, 2021, Jonah is alleged to have written to Brady, if you need surfing with men, boundaryless inappropriate friendships with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, to post inappropriate pictures, friendships with women who are in unstable places and from your wild recent past, beyond just getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful, I am not the right partner for you, he said. Next up, we have Lizzo. 3 of Lizzo's former dancers have accused the singer of harassment and creating a hostile work environment. They also alleged that she pressured one of them to touch a nude performer at an Amsterdam club and subjected the group to an excruciating audition after leveling false accusations that they were drinking on the job. The dancers accused Lizzo, a performer known for embracing body positivity and celebrating her physique, of calling attention to one dancer's weight gain and later berating, then firing that dancer after she recorded a meeting because of a health condition. The lawsuit, filed in Los Angeles Superior Court and provided to NBC News, also accuses the captain of Lizzo's dance team of deriding those who had premarital intercourse while sharing lewd fantasies and publicly discussing the virginity of one of the plaintiffs. The lawsuit does not say if Lizzo knew about the allegations linked to the dance captain, but the plaintiffs believe the singer was aware of their complaints about her, according to their lawyer. Next, we have Ariana Grande. Just because we learned that Ariana is dating her Wicked co-star Ethan Slater a mere 3 days after news broke that Grande was splitting from husband Dalton Gomez doesn't mean the timeline was equally as rushed, right? Well, according to sources, it appears Grande was still working on her relationship with Dalton when she flew to the UK to film the musical movie Wicked in December 2022, though a source told Us Weekly that the couple were having issues and the distance did not help. Meanwhile, Grande's alleged new boyfriend, who is known for playing SpongeBob on Broadway and will be playing the Munchkin Bach in Wicked, was also in a committed relationship when the filming began. In fact, Ethan Slater had been married to high school sweetheart Lily J since 2018 and welcomed his first child with her sometime in 2022. Rumors that Ariana and Ethan had been cheating on their partners began circling, and fans are not having it. One Reddit user wrote, quote, "She is a 30-year-old grown woman. Zero excuses for being a homewrecker. That man had a newborn baby. Selfish beyond measure." Adding, "A newborn and wife whom Ariana hung out with on multiple couples outings. The wife considered her a friend." Another user wrote a detailed thread on the situation saying, "For the past couple of years, she'll do anything to preserve her happiness at any cost, even when it's messed up. It was inevitable that she was going to get divorced before she got married, and she has a long pattern of not being able to be single and going from one guy to the next. The one time she was single, she threw herself into work, and as soon as her tour was over, she was with somebody else. else. The Ethan Slater thing is messed up and inexcusable because of the fact that he has a child. I genuinely believe that the biggest root of all of it, not even her unresolved trauma, is the fact that all the people in her life, whether it's her team of 10 plus years, her stage mom and her half brother, or even her childhood friends, who rely on her and are thus always supportive yes men. Next up, we have Nikki Tutorials, who exposed Ellen DeGeneres. YouTuber Nikki Tutorials has spoken out again about how she was treated on The Ellen Show. According to Pop Crave, she was greeted by an angry, overworked intern and then not given the same VIP treatment as the other guests. She said she wasn't allowed to use the bathroom closest to her because it was, quote, reserved for the Jonas Brothers. She appeared on the show just months after she came out as transgender in an emotional YouTube video. In a subsequent interview with a Dutch talk show, she suggested that Ellen was, quote, cold and distant when the cameras were turned off. Next up, we have Colleen Ballinger. Fellow YouTuber Trisha Paytas exposed Colleen for her insane behavior. The 35-year-old confirmed that her and Colleen Ballinger's Oversharing podcast was coming to an end after just 3 episodes. Trisha opened up about the decision to cancel the podcast following the allegation from a former fan of Colleen's, Johnny Silvestri, who said that Colleen had previously sent him NSFW photos and videos of Trisha from her OF while making fun of her. Trisha said that she reached out to Colleen about the allegations and she denied them. This is all very embarrassing, Trisha said in her July 9th, 2023 YouTube video. It's very embarrassing at the end of the day. I don't get embarrassed by many things, obviously, but the podcast ending after 3 episodes is embarrassing. The podcast, which premiered May 2023, released its last episode on June 6th, days after allegations of Colleen forming inappropriate relationships with fans surfaced. In late June 2023, Colleen responded with a 10-minute ukulele song where she admitted previous wrongdoings but denied doing anything wrong with her fans. Of the whole experience, Trisha reiterated, "Us doing all this is embarrassing. It takes a lot for me to get embarrassed. When I say I've never wanted a chapter in my life to be over faster than this," Trisha continued, "even though it was a very small chapter, I mean it." Next up, we have Mark Walberg. Mark Wahlberg's history of racially motivated attacks have resurfaced after the actor was accused of hypocrisy for sharing a post supporting Black Lives Matter. Many commenters accused Wahlberg of hypocrisy given his history of using racial slurs and hate crimes as a teenager. The Independent has approached Wahlberg's representatives for comments on these accusations with no response. While living in Boston in the 1980s, Mark was twice charged for race-related crimes, serving time in jail for one of the attacks. Yikes. Next up, we have Dave Chappelle. Following the end of The Chappelle Show, Dave Chappelle went on an extended break and only made occasional appearances in the media. That changed, however, around the mid-2010s when he started regularly doing stand-up once again. However, this return has been married in various controversies, with the comedian making some ill-advised jokes throughout his specials. In 2021, The Closer was released on Netflix to mixed reviews and widespread controversy. Chappelle was accused of making transphobic remarks, and the special caused various Netflix employees to walk off the job in protest. Regardless, Chappelle continues his stand-up career. In 2022, he headlined 4 nights at the Hollywood Bowl and hosted Saturday Night Live. Next up, let's discuss Roseanne Barr. Barr made headlines when it was revealed that her long-running and beloved sitcom Roseanne was returning to the airwaves. However, that highly anticipated return did not last long. Just 2 months after the season debuted in 2018 to enormous success, Barr tweeted a racist insult aimed at government official Valerie Jarrett. The Roseanne revival was swiftly axed by ABC, and Roseanne Barr largely disappeared from the public spotlight. She was notably excluded from The Conners, a follow-up to the sitcom. However, the actress now seems to be trying to revive her career, as in 2023 she delivered a brand new comedy special on Fox. Next up, we have Armie Hammer. Armie Hammer was on the come-up throughout the 2010s, starring in the likes of of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and Call Me By Your Name. The latter earned him widespread attention and praise, and he was even nominated for a Golden Globe for his work in it. But in January 2021, various allegations were made against him, claiming that he had disturbing fantasies with his female partners. He left many of his pending projects behind, while others completely cut ties with him and basically fled the entertainment industry. His final film to date, Death on the Nile, was released in 2022. Hammer is now thought to be residing in the Cayman Islands and reportedly works in the timeshare selling business. Lastly, we have J-Lo. Last year on TikTok, there was a viral trend going around of fans exposing J-Lo horror stories, and some of these are shocking, so buckle up. One woman described her experience of helping J-Lo at Foot Locker. She said Lopez, quote, cussed me out because the store didn't have the correct size for the shoes she wanted to buy her kids, 14-year-old twins Emmy and Maximilian. But that was nothing compared to the story another woman had after Lopez came to stay in a house where she used to work as a maid. She described how a nail artist was called in to give Lopez a pedicure in bed, which the nail tech had to do upside down because Jennifer, who was laying on her stomach, refused to roll over onto her back.
Number 9. Ezra Miller. Ezra has been on the acting scene since 2008, appearing in movies like After School and Perks of Being a Wallflower, and they seemed like a normal person until around 2019, when cast and crew started noticing odd behavior from the actor on the set of The Flash. Their attitude shifted from happy to be here to, hey, I'm better than you guys, deal with it. They would often wear capes and robes to set that just weren't part of their costume, and reportedly were filled with scattered thoughts and motivations during filming and off screen. In 2020, a video surfaced of Miller in a violent altercation outside of a bar in Iceland, which would be the first of many videos that proved that Ezra's a little funny. Eventually this led to Miller breaking and entering into someone's house in Hawaii, and I guess they were just chilly and couldn't find a blanket. I'm not sure what the motivation was there. Miller went on the run from Hawaiian authorities for over a week, supposedly squatting in abandoned buildings and sleeping on the beach, and they were eventually caught and charged with breaking and entering as well as aggravated swatting, as Miller had apparently gotten into a fist fight before breaking into the house. So hey, two birds, one stone. The Flash was released into theaters and it did okay, but it's looking like it's going to be the last time we see Miller on screen anytime soon. Number 8. James Franco. James placed himself in a bubble of public exile when he used his powers as a Hollywood superstar for evil. The man behind iconic characters like Tommy Wiseau, Harry Osborn, so many more, seemed to be on his way to a long, successful career following collaborations with his longtime friend Seth Rogen especially, as well as his turn in more serious roles like in True Story with Jonah Hill. Apparently though, James has a problem keeping his hands to himself, especially when it comes to his acting students, the female ones at least. In 2018, 5 female students at the Studio 4 acting school in North Hollywood told Los Angeles Times that Franco had used his position to exploit them physically. 2 of those women sued Franco, and he was forced to settle outside of court and pay them $2.23 million. And at the time that he was writing and acting and directing for a show called The Deuce on HBO, which was of course allowed to stay on because it was already being cancelled anyway, so nobody cared. Not only did fans ask for everything he was in to be cancelled, like the series, movies, everything, but the public outcry actually forced Seth Rogen to drop his longtime friend, and he told the Times of London that the scandal changed their relationship and he had no plans to collaborate with James anytime in the near future. Not sure if you've noticed, he hasn't been in any movie trailers recently. Number 7. Russell Brand. Russell is a rough man, okay, even before the controversy surrounding his, misdeeds came up this year. This man has been unwelcomed at royal events, awards shows, birthday parties, anything and everything. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm really sorry to be the one to tell you, but Russell Brand is a terrible person. The man, best known as a comedian, a bringer of joy, has secretly been manipulative, aggressive, and at times violent according to his ex-partners. Following the news that there was going to be a documentary about his life and career on BBC Channel 4, several complaints were filed alleging that Russell had mistreated them during their relationships. The allegations were actually reinforced by Russell's ex Katy Perry, who they dated for quite some time. They got engaged, I'm pretty sure they got married, and in that time she came to learn that Russell was short-tempered, opinionated, and stubborn, qualities that just do not make for a good partner. Russell's career was cancelled and he's currently awaiting trial, so rightfully so. Number 6. Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors is currently the man behind the purple cape of Kang in the MCU, but unfortunately for Majors, an ex has come forward and alleged that he was physically violent towards her while they were together. Since Since March of this year, Majors and his team have been adamant that the situation has been blown out of proportions, that there's really nothing to be upset about. In fact, in June, Majors filed his own cross-complaint accusing his accuser. Prosecutors refused these claims and told him that there were no plans to prosecute Grace Jabari, who was the woman who accused him. Majors was dropped from his agency, and so far his role on TV and film is pretty up in the air. This is a spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Loki Season 2. The series ended with Kang no longer being He Who Remains, and it's actually pretty unclear about what's gonna happen next. There are rumors that his role will just be recasted, or that they will instead bring in the character Doctor Doom as the MCU's big bad. Either way, the trial is currently underway, with the information changing every other day. This dude's career is extremely up in the air, and who knows what's gonna happen next. Number 4, Chrissy Tegan. Chrissy canceled herself by being the meanest woman on the internet. In May of 2021, an individual by the name of Courtney Stodden, a pageant model and media personality, claimed that fellow model and media star Chrissy Tegan had publicly bullied them online for quite some time. Chrissy was accused of regularly tweeting that she wished Courtney would take a permanent dirt nap, or just straight up end herself. Apparently Chrissy harbored some kind of jealousy towards Courtney's success and decided to take it online instead of, not publicizing her personal issues. Chrissy quickly apologized for the tweets and DMs, which were sent as recently as 2019. In one of her last posts, she tweeted, "I'm sad and mortified at who I used to be. I was an insecure, attention-seeking troll. I am ashamed and completely embarrassed at my behavior, but it's nothing compared to how I made Courtney feel." Chrissy then decided to delete her social medias following a slew of backlash for her actions, eventually leading to her being fired from or leaving any job that she had, both on and off the screen. So next time, just keep your jealousy balled up deep down inside you, like the rest of us do. Maybe you'd still have a career. Number 3, Gina Carano. Gina was slowly building a name for herself in the early 2010s as a woman to be feared on screen. She portrayed characters like Riley Hicks in Fast and Furious, and her most recent role was Cara Dune in Mandalorian, a series that decided to move on without her for the simple fact that she is a little bit misguided on her views towards the world. In 2021, Carano made a series of politically charged social media posts, the most damning of which came when she compared modern American political polarization to camps, Germany in 1945. Those are different things. To throw a cherry on top of this trashy sundae, Gina also made her opinions on pronouns known, claiming that hers were beep boop beep. That's nice. Screw you, Gina! Those are mine. All of this combined eventually culminated in the hashtag FireGinaCarano on Twitter, which began trending fast, forcing Disney as well as her management company to cut their ties. Needless to say, The Mandalorian is doing just fine without her, and the rest of Hollywood is glad that she is out of the picture for now. Number 2, James Corden. Talk shows are pretty simple. You get a few cameras together in a nice studio with a solid band and some furniture, and you got a show. However, most talk shows don't include extravagant bits like street performances and singing in a trailer car thingy. They may be able to put it together and make us believe that it's all good, but this stuff costs a lot of money for people to pay. Crew, cast, catering, and even Cordon himself, who apparently made $5 million a year on his program, The Late Late Show with James Corden. This is a lot considering that the show had a regular budget of $65 million a year, which is still huge, but has consistently only brought back $45 million in revenue. The only way the show could ever be able to stay on was if Cordon himself took $1 million loss and brutal staff reductions. So instead, he opted to just cancel his show entirely, which would be one thing if it was his show, but it was The Late Late Show. It's been around since 1995, first being hosted by Tom Snyder. He took away something he didn't even create, and now instead of only some staff members having to lose their job, everybody lost their job, the show got canceled, and his career got canceled along with it. So far, he hasn't been asked to host any events, won any awards, and he hasn't been casted in any new Cat movies, thank God. Number 1, Kanye West. Hey look, it's canceled McGee! This is my favorite guy. When it comes to the worst celebrities that ruined their careers, especially ones that are in hiding, it's Kanye West. Now I wrote a small poem a while back that I haven't gotten to say in a while. It's Dr. Seuss inspired, and it's just exactly what Kanye did to get canceled, and you'll get a little reminder, so I hope you enjoy it. Ye was a rapper who lived in LA. He decided to ruin his rep though one day. He typed and he clicked to his little heart's content. He said racist things. He needed to vent. He posted to Twitter to share all his woes. The world said no thank you, it's time that you go. He was canceled and soiled his semi-good name. He chose anger and hate over fortune and fame. His clothes all got burned and his wife left his home. No more sponsor, no more Kim. Kanye is alone. What's worse still, keeping Ye in the dumps? Well, his only friend was arrested. Poor Donald Trump. Number 9, Shia LaBeouf. Shia has been a controversial celebrity over the years for sure, becoming famous as one of the hardest people to work with in Hollywood history. Like many bad apples in LA, Shia got his start on the Disney Channel. At the turn of the century, Disney released a little show called The Even Stevens. The series followed the titular Stevens family with a focus on the kids Ren and Louis, played by Christy Romano and Shia LaBeouf. The show is considered to be one of Disney's best, spanning 3 seasons and spawning an Even Stevens movie that is still one of the greatest pieces of cinema ever released. These days, Shia has adopted more of a mountain man look. He always looks like he's got a big bushy beard whenever he can, and he has gone from bright and youthful to just tired and annoyed. I feel that, man. Following the show's end, Shia kept his acting career going strong, appearing in much-loved classics like Holes as main character Stanley Yelnats, but it wasn't until his casting in the live-action Transformers series that he began to descend into madness. Since 2007, Shia's behavior as both an actor and a person has been getting worse and worse. His fellow actors have reported that Shia takes method acting way too far and smells terrible on set, not to mention the several public art displays that he gifted the world in the mid-2000s. Oh, and who could forget his passionate motivational video where he told us that nothing was impossible and we could just do it. While he may still be working today, he's usually the one that's like backing the projects he's in. In the eyes of Hollywood and, well, from most of us, Shia canceled himself the minute he stood in front of a green screen and yelled at the top of his lungs, "Do it! Nothing is impossible!" Number 8, DaBaby. The rapper formerly known as Baby Jesus, and I will always remind you of that because that is a weird fact. DaBaby has always had a bad boy streak in the music industry. He's known for dropping some choice expletives on stage all the time, and even makes fun of his fans right to their faces. This unfortunately culminated in him deciding that it was appropriate to joke about a certain disease that's unnecessarily linked to the gay community. On stage, he told his fans to put up their cell phones if they didn't have any STIs. Honestly, he said a lot of weird stuff before saying the words "put your phones in the air" like he was playing some kind of a massive game of Guess Who. It's like, alright, if you have brown hair, put your hair down. It's just weird. Just don't do that to people. Of course, he was torn to shreds by the LGBTQ+ community, including icons Elton John, Madonna, and one of his collaborators, Dua Lipa. Not only did he cancel himself, but he was actually set to release a clothing line with fashion brand Boohoo Man, but they backed out following the public outcry. To top it all off, 2 of his biggest performances set to take place at Lollapalooza and a concert in Atlanta were cancelled amid the flurry of complaint calls and emails that the venue had been receiving. DaBaby actually called himself cancelled on Twitter, joking about the whole situation while just one single tear rolled down his face. Number 5, Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen had one of the most successful daytime talk shows of all time until 2020. Her show became overwhelmed with accusations of toxic work environment from former employees. They were claiming that Ellen's happy exterior was nothing more than a facade put in place to keep the audience on her team. A small bit of proof came when she accused 50 Shades of Grey actress Dakota Johnson of not inviting her to a birthday party a few months prior. Dakota reminded her that she had in fact sent an invitation and received a notice from her producer that said that she didn't want to attend. Fans began questioning the awkward moment, and the cracks in her appearance grew bigger and bigger. Eventually, an article was released containing testimonies from several former employees, with too many stories to have been a false narrative. Ellen canceled herself by denying every single thing that she was being accused of instead of just acknowledging her faults and missteps as a boss. Instead, Ellen's fans took to Twitter demanding that she respond to the articles and the claims that she was herself a short-tempered tyrant. Well, she didn't respond as you may think with like a public apology. No, instead she was forced to cancel both herself and her show amid the controversy and has been on a hiatus ever since. Oh well, more time for Kelly Clarkson. Number 4, J.K. Rowling. Alright, all you Harry Potter fans, cover your ears cause this one sucks. J.K. Rowling is known for being the author of the much-loved Harry Potter book series that was eventually adapted into 7 gloriously magical movies and Order of the Phoenix. In June 2020, Rowling retweeted an op-ed piece that discussed people who menstruate, apparently taking issue with the fact that the article did not use the word women. She tweeted, "People who menstruate. I'm sure there used to be a word for those people. Someone help me out. Woman, wimpund, womud." Oh man, every time I read that, steam comes out of my ears. I don't like this woman. While this tweet garnered massive amounts of backlash from fans, Rowling doubled down on her views in more detail. She tweeted out, "If gender isn't real, there is no same-gender attraction. I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of gender removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives." Okay. She went on to say she respected trans people's right to live any way that feels authentic to them. At the same time, my life has been shaped by being a female. She then claimed that it wasn't wrong to speak the truth and be proud of your opinions, but hey, yeah, it is. Everyone in the world called JK out for her comments and views, with the live-action Harry Potter stars even taking to Twitter to call out her behavior and stand with the trans community. JK's publishers dropped her from their rosters, and the future of her writing career has gone up in smoke like it was straight out of the Death Eater's bum bum. If she had just kept her opinions to herself, maybe The Cursed Child would be an awesome movie instead of an okay play. Just saying, JK, go away, let us do stuff with your properties, please. Number 2, Will Smith. Whoa, Will Smith canceled himself? How? Yeah, I'm just kidding. We all know this one by now. In 2022, Chris Rock was hosting the 94th annual Oscar ceremony when he decided to make a little joke about Jada Pinkett Smith and her hair loss. Rock expressed his excitement to see Jada in a fictional G.I. Jane movie. Immediately following the joke, which landed for everybody else in the audience, Rock stood in confusion as Will Smith made his way to the stage. Will adjusted his jacket, he took a firm, strong stance, and then he just clocked Chris right in the face. He winded up his hand first to conjure the ultimate amount of force. It was kind of impressive. Initially being seen as a planned joke between the two, Will then began shouting several times at Rock to keep his wife's name out of his frickin' mouth. Chris handled the situation well. He kept his cool, he laughed it off for the cameras, and he brought out the next award presenter. He was a gem, he did it so well. He was professional and quick to get the night back on track. Unfortunately though, an hour later, Will Smith won the Oscar for Best Actor in a Leading Role. He played Richard Williams, the father of tennis superstars Venus and Serena Williams. During his speech, he gave a half-hearted apology for his actions before claiming the situation was due to his months of portraying the father on set, leaving him with an extreme paternal sense to protect his family. Unfortunately for Will, that slap was enough to get him banned from the Oscars. On top of that, he seemingly canceled himself, now being seen as an aggressive man with no impulse control. He was fired from upcoming projects, and he currently sits at home all day polishing his one and only Oscar next to a single candle in the darkest room of his mansion.